Welcome to South Florida Sunday. Jennifer Ross along with my guest, Michaell Finn. He is the executive director of the Palm Beach Symphony. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you here. What does the executive director of a symphony do?
The executive director does a lot of talking. I talk to soloists, I talk to conductors, I talk to donors, I talk to audience members, and I just try to keep the thing going.
Did you ever play an instrument?
I used to play the bassoon years and years ago.
What is the bassoon?
The bassoon sits in the back row. It's a long oboe. It's about, 18 feet of tubing. One hardly hears it, but it was fun while I did it.
You did it for a long time?
20, 30 years, yep.
Oh, that's a long time.
Yes, it is.
You don't miss it? You put it in
I
its
don't
case?
miss it at all. I put it in the case. I eventually sold it, and I figured I could do some more good in a leadership role.
So you are in charge of making sure the Palm Beach Symphony, in this case, stays afloat financially.
That's one of my big jobs, yes. So we have some very generous patrons here in Palm Beach, and I'm always looking for more.
What does the Palm Beach Symphony, don't laugh at this question, play?
Not a silly question. We play anything that the size of the hall helps dictate, whatever the conductor would like to play. This season, for instance, we have an orchestra of 14, and we also have an orchestra of 85. So it's not a standing orchestra, but we are able to program according to musical desire.
So really, it's like if the director or the conductor likes U2, they would play a U2 song?
We could, if we could find a decent arrangement. I don't know that I know of any, but I'll start looking.
You know what? Call Me Maybe was just done by some big symphony. And they had a choir come in and sing, and I'm like thinking, really? You took a pop song and made it a symphony?
Well, more people hear symphonies than they think. Every time you go to the movie, you're hearing about a 100-piece symphony orchestra. And I used to do some of that as well. The recording industry used to be huge in this country. Economic constraints have taken a lot of that work overseas, but people are more familiar with symphony orchestra than they think.
John Williams.
There you go, the best example.
Anything from Star Wars to Indiana Jones to, I'm just trying to think of what he did more recently. But,
Schindler's List is amazing. Yeah, he's an amazing composer. I've had the privilege to work with him in the past, and he's a great musician.
I'm not musically inclined, other than I work at a radio station. That's about as far as my musical talent goes.
A lot of people say they only play the radio.
Okay, that's about what I do. I play the radio and I play a mean iPad. For people who don't know anything about a symphony, you're set up according to section. Percussions, winds, strings.
Yes.
If you mixed them all up, would it still sound the same?
No.
Why do they set up the way they're set up?
Some instruments sound better masked. For instance, the violins. There's a richness to the sound that if you put them all over the room, you wouldn't get that lush sound that you get if you have 40 of them sitting together.
Now, if you go to a symphony or go to a concert,
Yes.
you will notice that there is the first chair. Now, that's the best player out of the bunch?
Usually called the concertmaster. In olden times, back even Mozart's day, there was no conductor. It was often the piano soloist, or it was often that one lead violinist, because that's the one chair that everyone in the orchestra can see. And even to this day, when there's a conductor on the podium, some eyes in the orchestra go to the bow of the concertmaster. Yes, still.
I see. You taught me something new that I never knew anything about.
Yes.
I always wondered, why do they call it the first chair or the concertmaster in this case? Michaell Finn, who's the executive director of the Palm Beach Symphony, my guest on South Florida Sunday. 39 seasons. You've been around a long time.
We have been around a long time, and that's thanks to the good work of a lot of people in Palm Beach. Some of the early seasons had as few as 2 concerts, but at least it was a season, and they kept it going. There's a lot that goes into making a symphony orchestra. It's a horrible business model. 80 to 100 people on stage, and sometimes fewer than that in the audience. So it's hard to keep it going financially.
For someone who's never been to see the Palm Beach Symphony, where do you guys play?
We play all over. In Palm Beach, we're starting a new series this year at Mar-a-Lago. We play at the Bethesda Episcopal by the Sea Church. We play at the Flagler Museum. We play at the Society for the Four Arts, and we play at the Kravis Center.
Acoustically, who has the best sound?
Depends how big an orchestra you're talking.
Okay.
They're all unique. Kravis, of course, is wonderful, but you can't go in. Well, you could go in with a small group, but it would sound better with a large one. And this year we're going in with 85 pieces in the Kravis.
What qualifies how many pieces to be considered a symphony?
We're doing a symphony concert of arrangements with as few as 14 players, and it is still a symphonic concert.
Okay, a symphonic concert with 14 players requires what particular instruments?
It depends what the arranger had in mind. These instruments are a string quartet, solo wind players, a harmonium, which is a very small portable organ, a piano, and a couple of percussionists.
Am I asking really stupid questions? You can tell I know nothing about music.
No, it's fine. It's great. I have to think about it when I'm talking even.
Well, I'm glad you played the bassoon because, Michael, we'd be lost if you didn't, probably. 39 seasons. This year you got an awesome lineup. Want to share?
Sure. We are featuring different soloists on each concert. The very first program, we have our principal clarinetist, Paul Green, playing Lutosławski, a Polish composer. Terrific little piece called Dance Preludes. That concert is all miniature symphonies, even though we will be at about half of our complement, 45 pieces at the Society for the Four Arts. In January, we're doing a program called Forever 39, celebrating our 39th season, which is the 39th Symphony of Mozart, the 39th Symphony of Haydn, the Opus 39 of Dvorak, and written in 1939, the Rodrigo Guitar Concerto.
You know, I wish this was television because you just rattled all of those 39th symphonies off like you've said them 1,000 times. I'd have to look at
I have said them 1,000 times. I talked to a lot of people.
I'm sorry, continue.
Let's see. And then we have in February at Bethesda by the Sea, our smallest program with some very big music. There's an arrangement of Mahler's Fourth Symphony, which is usually done with over 100 players, arranged down for 14. The complete work for 14 players. The first half is Debussy's Afternoon of a Faun, again, a very popular work, but arranged down for about 12 players. And then there's some Strauss waltzes there to lighten it up. Then we go to March 1st at Mar-a-Lago, a brand new venue for us in the Grand Ballroom. We're playing Beethoven's Fifth and Sixth Symphonies as they were premiered in 1808. March 28th is our gala concert, again at Mar-a-Lago, with two young, hot superstars, Lola Astanova piano and Tiago Arencam, a Brazilian tenor, with Yaya Ling from San Diego conducting. And finally, the Kravis Center in April, an all-Spanish concert with our Spanish conductor, Ramon Tebar.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask you about him because I again, don't know anything about the symphony, but I have heard people talk about him. Why is he so special?
Ramon is a fabulous musician. He's relatively new to this country. He is, I believe, in his third year with the Palm Beach Symphony. I've only been here 6 months, so that's why I say I believe. And in his second year as the artistic director of the Florida Grand Opera in Miami. So he has quite a presence in South Florida.
Can a person be a musical director without ever having played an instrument? I ask you that question, Michael.
Absolutely. Some of the best music directors are pianists. I mean, that's an instrument. I actually can't think of any conductor that doesn't at least play the piano. You almost have to be able to study the scores completely.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
Now, for someone who's never been to the symphony,
You should come. I'll give you a ticket.
I was going to ask you, how much does it cost?
Tickets start for students at $10. If you're listening and you're under 12, you can come for free. Parents can buy tickets for $50. And then we have different membership packages that go all the way up to $2,500 and include dinner and cocktail parties and all kinds of social add-ons.
Michael, do you have a website people can go to get all the details?
Sure. Palm Beach Symphony, all one word, .org, O-R-G.
That's tough to remember. PalmBeachSymphony.org. How about kids? Do you have many children who are interested in coming to listen to the symphony?
Kids are always interested in anything you give them that's good. We are starting a children's series this year, and on November 29th at the EC Theater in Palm Beach Gardens, we're going to do an introduction to the orchestra with about a 30-piece orchestra.
Would it be, beneficial for a child who plays an instrument, or can it be any kids?
Any kids. We're hoping to incorporate some dancers with this, so it'll be audio and visual. A 45-minute presentation should be really good.
Do you find that children that have come to see the Palm Beach Symphony play are either bored or totally enthralled. Is it like one or the other?
It can run the gamut. A normal symphony concert can be 2 hours. So for any kid to sit through 2 hours, they're always well behaved. But they could be bored from time to time. I bet a lot of the parents are bored from time to time. But more often than not, they sit through and clap at the end.
2 hours. That's pretty grueling. How about for the people on stage, the musicians, the director, the music director?
Well, there's that lovely intermission. Okay. It's usually about 45 minutes a half.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So at least you get up to go get a drink or walk around or do whatever the case.
But there are the 5-hour operas. So the symphony has that over the opera world, as their concerts are always shorter.
For someone who's never been to see the Palm Beach Symphony, how would you sell me?
Take a chance on good music. You won't be disappointed.
Do you ever have a bad show?
Never. They're always well rehearsed. So if you put professional musicians in a room together with a great conductor and enough time to rehearse the program, you're going to come out with a good product.
Michaell Finn, the executive director of the Palm Beach Symphony, palmbeachsymphony.org. For their 39th season, they have symphonies all over the place, either at the Kravis Center, at Bethesda by the Sea, at Trump.
Mar-a-Lago?
You get to go hang out at Mar-a-Lago?
I know, it's kind of fun.
That's an awesome place.
Yeah.
It really is. And
they put on a good show.
And their new Great Hall is pretty cool, too, because that's relative. That was added on after the fact, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Big hall in the back. Any children's particular shows, just for kids?
November 29th at the Easy Theater in Palm Beach Gardens.
And that's the one that you said was audio and visual.
Yes.
Michaell Finn, the executive director of the Palm Beach Symphony. If someone would like to participate either in the November concert that will be for children or geared toward children, or all the other concerts and symphonies that you have going on, you have your website. You have a phone number, too?
We have a phone number. You can call me at 561-655-2657.
You answer the phone as well?
I do answer the phone.
Because you said call me. I'm saying, hi, Palm Beach Symphony. How can I help you?
Yeah, I do that from time to time, too.
Or you can go to their website, palmbeachsymphony.org, and it has all the details. I thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.